Hello, my name is Rob, and the podcast that I chose from What the Health is the state of the Affordable Care Act and what is progressing it. And this podcast was treated with a guest by the name of Cynthia, and she started off by talking about how the Affordable Care Act has done to change the system and how the ACA was trying to fix problems in the healthcare system. A few problems that included in that where a lot of people weren't insured due cost reasons or living status, basically like home life and family and stuff. And the second reason Cynthia was talking about was that people with pre-existing conditions were often denied health insurance. What I mean by that is basically if you had a serious illness like cancer, diabetes, um, something to do with joints, something to do with your bones, your muscles, everything, that requires more expensive care. And basically, where you had a gap where you lost your job and they basically wouldn't insure you. A fact that I found interesting is back in the 90s when HIPAA came into play, which I think was 1996, Cynthia said. It came into play for the employer market. Um, I guess the individual market was very crazy where you could basically get insurance, but it wasn't really insurance. I didn't really understand that topic in the podcast, but I would be willing to dive deeper in that to figure that out. And basically, you could also get charged for being a woman, like charged more money or more insurance money for being a woman, which I thought was very interesting as well. And this topic does catch my attention because I honestly knew nothing of the ACA until I started taking this class. And I think it is the right thing to do for those that can't afford insurance. And it is a good step up to help those in the near future that um, either get into a divorce or lose their house or lose their job and stuff like that, or have mental issues or disabilities and all that stuff. It also caught my attention because this can also give me a head start on what I can find for insurance individually or through an employer, and to give me um, basically more options when it comes to finding insurance. The podcast did not conflict with any of my beliefs because I think it is very important to help out the poor community and its struggles because they are people too, even if they don't have the same amount of money as everybody else or a higher social status or no disabilities or no mental health disabilities. They are still people. And we should take that into account that they should be able to seek the same help that we can seek. The two questions that I have from these podcasts is how has the cost of insurance progressed over the last couple of decades? I know it has something to do with like government spending and raising in taxes and basically the cost of living or prices with the market. But I'm curious to know if it was drastically cheaper a couple decades ago, like back in the 80s and the 90s. I've always thought that was interesting and always wondered if it was like just crazy different or if it was kind of relatively close. And then my second question would be, is it still harder for a woman to pay for health insurance versus how it is for a man to get health insurance? Because a lot of men in the workforce get health insurance through their employers, and a lot of women do too, but I don't know if it's harder for a woman in the workforce to get insured by an employer or versus it is a man. And the ideas addressed in this podcast do mesh with a lot of my own ideas when it comes to the cost of living and affordability on health insurance. And to my knowledge, I have no idea how much health insurance is because for me, it is covered through my dad's work, and he works for Waste Management. So I've never had to take any research or look into health insurance yet as I get older, but I can imagine it is not cheap for the employer to cover, especially for Waste Management. They have over, I think it's 250,000 employers now. Maybe it might be a little less now, but it was that last year. So they have a lot of insurance to cover. And lastly, what I would like to talk about is I have learned a few things when it comes to health insurance, because I am getting to that age where I need to start doing my own research on insurance to find the best plan for myself and for my future family. I think it is important for people to take the next step ahead and to try to just get a head start and a visual of what um, basically what it's like to be an adult, especially kids at my age, because I'm only 19 years old. And for some people, it is a lot harder to do that research, and for some people, it is very easy. So I'm going to take the next step ahead and try to get ahead of other people. But that concludes my video. Thank you for watching.